Hollywood history, a deep dive into the most iconic and influential moments in Hollywood history. Hollywood. The name itself is synonymous with glamour, drama, and larger-than-life stories. It has been the birthplace of countless legendary actors, directors, and producers who have created some of the most memorable moments in cinema history. Hollywood has seen it all, from the silent era to the present day. Join us on a journey back in time as we deep dive into the most iconic and influential moments in Hollywood history. Hello, and welcome to Hollywood History, where we explore the fascinating stories behind the movies that shaped our culture. Today, we will look at some of the most critical moments in Hollywood history, from the invention of the motion picture camera to the rise of the blockbuster era. Our story begins in the late 19th century, when inventors like Thomas Edison and the Lumiere brothers experimented with a new device called the motion picture camera. In 1895, the Lumiere brothers debuted their invention to a stunned audience in Paris. And soon, the world was captivated by the magic of moving pictures. In the 1920s, Hollywood studios emerged as dominant players in the film industry. The studio system allowed filmmakers to work on a large scale and produce films quickly and efficiently. The most successful studios of this era included Warner Brothers, MGM, and Paramount. The studio system allowed for the creation of some of the most iconic films of the time, including The Wizard of Oz, Casablanca, and Gone with the Wind. But then, in 1927, everything changed with the release of The Jazz Singer, the first feature-length film with synchronized sound. The world had never seen anything like it, and Hollywood was forever transformed. In the 1930s, Hollywood came under fire for producing films deemed too scandalous or immoral. In response, the Motion Picture Production Code, also known as the Hays Code, was established in 1930. The code imposed strict censorship rules on films, prohibiting the depiction of nudity, profanity, and other immoral themes. While the Hays Code was criticised for limiting artistic expression, it remained in effect until the late 1960s. In the 1950s and 60s, a new style of acting known as method acting emerged in Hollywood. Method acting emphasised the importance of emotional truth and authenticity in performance, and was championed by actors such as Marlon Brando, James Dean, and Montgomery Clift. The method acting movement helped redefine the art of acting in Hollywood and influenced future generations. In the post-World War II era, Hollywood produced several iconic films, including On the Waterfront, Rebel Without a Cause, and East of Eden. But it wasn't until the 1970s that Hollywood entered a new era, with the release of Jaws and Star Wars. These blockbuster films ushered in a new era of Hollywood filmmaking that would dominate the industry for decades. Today, Hollywood continues to produce some of the world's most influential and entertaining films, from superhero blockbusters to indie darlings. In the late 1960s and early 1970s, Hollywood underwent a significant transformation with the emergence of a new generation of filmmakers. These filmmakers, including Francis Ford Coppola, Martin Scorsese, and Steven Spielberg, ushered in a new era of Hollywood filmmaking, characterized by edgier, more personal stories and a focus on auteur-driven filmmaking. The new Hollywood era gave rise to some of the most iconic films of all time, including The Godfather, Jaws, and Taxi Driver. In the 1990s, Hollywood underwent another major transformation with the advent of digital technology. Introducing digital cameras and editing software allowed filmmakers to work more efficiently and at a lower cost. This led to an explosion of independent filmmaking and the rise of auteurs like Quentin Tarantino and Kevin Smith. The digital revolution also paved the way for groundbreaking films like The Matrix and Avatar, which relied heavily on digital effects. These are just a few iconic and influential moments in Hollywood history. Each of these moments has had a lasting impact on the film industry and helped shape the art of cinema as we know it today. And that brings us to the end of our journey through Hollywood history. We hope you enjoyed this deep dive into some of cinema's history's most iconic and influential moments.